The meeting to order at 6 p.m. If we could begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Ochoa, would you lead us? Oh. Yes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Ms. Viteri, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Derderian, absent. Commissioner Lucia,
Present.
Commissioner Mann, absent. Commissioner Ochoa,
Present.
Commissioner Zuckerman,
Present.
Vice Chair Wondercheck, absent. Chair Ashendorf.
Present.
Okay, we have quorum.
All right, thank you very much. The next item on the agenda is public comment. Now is the time for the public to address the commission on any items that are not on this evening's agenda.
I'm not sure if I should wait till you guys talk about the mural or address that now.
Yes, yes, please come forward. Thank you, welcome.
All right, good evening, guys. I'm Skeeth DeWine, so I'm one of your artists in the city for the past 5 years. I'm one of the founding members of the Santa Ana Arts District and the creator of the Santa Ana Arts Walk. I put together the Children's Art and Education Program for the Peterson Museum of Auto History, and also helped formulate and keep the Venice Beach Art Walk on track a few years back with Steve Shortridge by reaching out to SciArc, College of Architecture. So one of the things I want to address today is I'm working on a skateboard project, and typically I'm an activist in the LGBTQ scene. I usually work very quietly and discreetly. It means importing, transporting a lot of, I guess you would say, obscure artwork that shouldn't be in certain countries like Iran or Russia. So, you know, we've done projects like that before in the past. Other times it's to help establish safe houses in some of these countries. And we usually can put GPS codes into paintings and then transport them over into Europe, and nobody's wiser. Right now, I'm looking at a spike in what's going on around the world in LGBTQ communities. We have the Olympics coming up in 2028. And I'm already very proactive and on top of it. So I have put together, I would love to do a mural in the city of Costa Mesa on LGBTQ athletes. And we have, the reason being is that we have the largest sports apparel companies that have a global impact in our city. So whatever happens in the city of Costa Mesa, the rest of the world is always watching us, whether we know it or not. And to give you an example right now, how bad things are getting, we need to kind of ease up or get the American population to relax a little bit. This is an article from 2 days ago in Ohio at, what was it? It was a drag queen literacy event for children, and neo-Nazis in black masks showed up to protest with semi-automatic weapons at sites. We have the soccer gentleman that went to Saudi Arabia for the World Cup. That was Grant Wall, and Grant Wall was detained shortly before he passed away at the event, but he was only wearing an LGBTQ t-shirt. So there was an enormous amount of hostilities there. Let's see, what else do we have here? We have 11 countries currently, one of them Uganda, that has declared that if they have LGBTQ people, that they could be executed. I didn't realize I'm on a time frame.
You can,
Okay.
can you continue and finish up in
All
30,
right, so
40 seconds?
let me just go real fast. Basically, I have put together a proposal here, just general outline of why I think it's important that we put together a mural project of LGBTQ athletes. I would love to do it on skateboarding. It's got some very rough concepts and ideas. It's also got some different articles and backgrounds on what the hostilities that are brewing in the world. And most importantly, it's that we have this gentleman right here, Tom Daly. And Tom Daly basically stepped forward and said, you know, if these countries are aggravated and they're enforcing the death penalty or prison sentences to LGBTQ people, maybe they shouldn't be allowed to participate in the Olympics. If we create a mural, we can raise that dialogue. We can bring global attention to Costa Mesa with a mural like this and raise the dialogue. And basically, Costa Mesa takes a leadership role in humanitarian rights. Okay?
Thank you very much. Can you leave your materials
Yes, I can.
with Ashley? Thank you. Ms. Viteri, is there anyone on Zoom who wishes to address the commission?
Chair, there are currently no members on Zoom.
All right, thank you. Then we will close public comment now and move to commissioner comments. And let's start with Commissioner Ochoa and move down the dais then.
My mixed heritage includes Thai, and in honor of Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, I wanted to share that the Segerstrom is hosting a series of events, which includes a fantastic selection of music, dance, and film. And if you happen to make it to any of these events, please wander through artist Isamu Noguchi's California Scenario. In my early scholarship, I came across this oral interview with the artist from 1973, about 10 years before he completed the project. And this line had always stuck with me. For one with a background like myself, the question of identity is uncertain. And think it's only in art that it was ever possible for me to find an identity at all. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Zuckerman?
That was nice. Thank you for your comments as well. I think it is important to be aware that what we do has a butterfly effect and that people are certainly looking at Costa Mesa. So I wanted to call everyone's attention to the Otis College survey on the impact of the creative economy in California. They've been doing it a long time and it was just released. And I just want to add one fact to the record, which says, in addition, the state's creative economy directly contributes 14.9%, which is the equivalent of $507.4 billion of the state's $3.4 trillion economy. So that's larger than the gross regional products of other major metropolitan areas, including Seattle, Philadelphia, and Miami. So the arts are important for all the reasons that we talk about, including the soul and making life, frankly, worth living. And they also have a huge economic impact. So I know that the city is also considering next year's budget. And I've personally reached out to the mayor and an additional council member to advocate for the budget that was proposed by the department, so that the Arts Commission can have an impact in Costa Mesa moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. Yes, Commissioner.
I just want to thank the gentleman for taking the time to come today and reiterate that the commission is greatly interested in hearing community feedback and ideas. And then we're here to make sure that the voices of our community are being amplified.
Thank you. A couple of things I'd like to call to the commission and the community's attention. Last week, the Newport Mesa Unified School District hosted its senior art show at location 1980, and more than 150 guests crammed into that studio, so it was really exciting. And we're hoping that they return annually to the city of Costa Mesa. And I've asked that someone from the school district reach out to you, Lorette, to see if we can find other venues that may be sustainable for them instead of moving from year to year. Another exciting announcement is that in the Register, there was a piece that Orange County Artists of the Year were chosen. 721 students in the county were nominated for this prestigious award. Seven students were chosen, representing 6 high schools throughout the county, and we're fortunate to have one member from the city of Costa Mesa High School student, Alexandra Hernandez, who was selected based on her magnificent ceramics. So we're hoping that we can continue to share those kinds of moments with our community. I'd also like to thank Commissioner Zuckerman for filling in when I was gone last month for Passover Seder. I watched and you did a magnificent job, so thank you very much. And two other comments. I know you probably hear this from Ms. Garner, but we're really excited to have the symphony come to the Costa Mesa Senior Center at the end of May. And also on this coming Monday, May 8th, the Alan Mayeda will be featured artist at the Costa Mesa Senior Center. His reception will be from 12 to 1:30. And staff, thank you for spotlighting the arts in the spotlight. We've had a lot of positive feedback on the colorful utility boxes, so thank you very much.
Commissioner, can I, gentleman that dropped off the proposals, you left 6 of them, right? We would need one for each commissioner and then one for the record. Do you have any more with you? If you'd like to email, is it an electronic document you can send? Okay. Yeah, we just, we'll take the ones that we have and hand them to the commissioners tonight. If there's 6, then just 2, I think, is all. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you. All right, the next item on the...
Chair?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Would you like to put up the picture you requested?
Oh, would you please? Thank you. I'm sorry. Just so that everyone can see our winner, Alexandra Hernandez, and pieces of her ceramics. All right, we'll move. Thank you very much, Ms. Pateri. The next item is old business. Do we have any comments or corrections on the minutes? All right, seeing none, then I'd make a motion to recommend the approval of the minutes from April 6, 2023. Do we have a second?
If you may do your motions on your dais, please.
Thank you. There we go. All right. We have a motion by Ashendorf and a second by Commissioner Lucia. Would you call for the vote?
Will you like to do public comment?
All right. I'm sorry. Thank you. I don't know that we do them on the minute, but that's all right.
I apologize. You may start your vote.
Thank you very much. All right.
Motion carries 4-0 to approve the minutes of April 6, 2023 of the Arts Commission.
Thank you very much. All right, we will move on to new business. Item number 1, the approval of the fiscal year 2022-2023 arts grants. Ms. Garner.
Good evening, Arts Commission. I wanted to give a little bit of background with the process this year since it was a bit different. The Arts Grant Review Panel consisted of Commissioner Zuckerman, Tamara Fairbanks from the Newport Mesa Unified School District, and Kate Ryan, who is a local artist. So those were our 3 review panelists for the grants. Each panelist completed a scoring rubric along with comments and a suggested funding for each application. I compiled all the information for the 5 applicants and created the funding plan for our agenda this evening, which is attached to the agenda. I did pull an extra $500 from the previous Culture Arts Committee Fund in order to give something to all applicants because we felt that they all warranted something. Next steps after approval would be to have each grantee sign an agreement so the city can send out checks before the end of the fiscal year on June 30th, 2023. And after each program and/or project has been completed, each grantee will be asked to fill out a final report and present at a future Arts Commission meeting. So I think, unless anyone has any questions or wants to alter the funding plan that was attached to the agenda, we will move this item to a vote
Well,
or comments.
we'll check. Do we have any specific questions of Ms. Garner before we open to public comment? All right, seeing none, is there anyone from the public who would wish to address the commission on the recommendation before us? All right, see anyone on Zoom? Ms. Pateri?
Chair, there are no members on Zoom.
Thank you. We'll close public comment. Then with that, thank you for serving on the committee, and to the other two who served. This is really exciting to see that we are moving forward and we have such diversity in the grants before us. I'm really excited about that. So would you like to make the motion?
Sure, I would love to. So I was honored to be able to serve in this role, and I enjoyed all of the applications. I was also struck by the diversity of the applicants and the ways that people are interested in spreading art and culture in Costa Mesa. And I would love to make a motion to approve the fiscal year 2022-2023 arts grants as presented.
All right. All right, we have a motion made by Commissioners Zuckerman, seconded by Commissioner Ochoa. We'll call for the question.
Motion carries 4-0 to approve the fiscal year 2022 to 2023 art grants.
Thank you very much. And Ms. Garner, we look forward to the progress with these grantees, and when things are available for us to be a part of or presented to us, we certainly want to be a part of that. Thank you. All right, at this point, we'll move on to item number 2, Public Art Criteria and Guidelines Review. Ms. Garner.
Thank you, Chair Ashendorf. For the Public Art Criteria and Guidelines Review, I created a draft of what a public art criteria document might look like for the city of Costa Mesa. I looked at a couple different examples from other cities, and I included 2 examples of those in the agenda for reference. This document in particular will be part of a much larger document that will eventually include processes and potential policies for all sections that were laid out in the Arts and Public Places report. So I'll kind of take some of the information from that and create, unique policies and procedures for the city. I bring forward this item as a discussion option. So this is a good time for any edits, any additions, any changes to this. And this is just a draft that I created, and I'm open to feedback on how this might look for us, the Arts Commission and the city. We don't necessarily need to approve this document this evening. I can make edits and bring it back as many times as we'd like before we get the draft that we want. And lastly, I just wanted to make a note that as public art projects may arise in the future, more specific details can be stated in the request for proposals and request for qualifications in collaboration with other departments and entities as needed. So just keep that in mind, like this criteria may be a bit broader, but as we go through specific projects, there will be proposals that will include more specific kind of guidelines for artists who are applying to them.
Thank you, Ms. Garner. Commissioners, any comments or questions for Ms. Garner at this time? Yes. Commissioner Zuckerman.
First of all, I think it's great, and I'm really happy to be having you put infrastructure in place for the city to be able to make decisions moving forward. So I think that's really amazing. I had a question about review guidelines, and the first point, which is relevance of the piece to the building or city, its values, culture, and people. I think it's probably intentionally vague. And I wonder about coupling that with a review guideline that has to do with, and I realize this is kind of subjective, but it's also not, something around quality or connoisseurship of the work as well. So I don't want to give exact language, but I think it's important that the work that's being considered is also considered based on its quality, not just necessarily craftsmanship, but also cognizance, I would say, of like the history of art or, you know, contemporary practices. That would be important to me to add. Thank you.
Yes, Commissioner.
Hi. I have one addition for number 12, on-site location ideas. We had a gentleman come at our first Arts Commission meeting from Streets for All and Costa Mesa Alliance for Better Streets, and he recommended that the commission look at incorporating public art into bus shelters. So I thought that would align with one of the site selection ideas for high pedestrian traffic in areas that are part of the city's circulation paths.
A couple of comments, Ms. Garner, not getting too deep into the weeds, but I don't see any place where we're giving credit to the artist. Will that occur at a later date? Because I think that's ultimately very important to make sure that our artists are recognized with the piece of artwork wherever it is.
Yes, thank you, Chair Ashendorf. We will, once we create contracts for these projects, there will be kind of an extra packet of attachments that each artist needs to fill out with information about their artwork, who they are, kind of a biography, artist statement. And we do have kind of, I've created kind of a draft, and it's of like what a plaque might look like. The city will be responsible for creating plaques for each project. And we'll have kind of a specific way in which we do it so it's consistent and you can kind of see and know that it's a city project.
Great, okay. Also, in the proposals or the samples that you gave us, they did point out lighting was important to the art in public places, and I hope that will also be a consideration for wherever we place our art.
Absolutely, I'll make a note and we'll kind of add it in there.
Okay, and if art is placed in a public space, are we going to give some kind of consideration to categorizing or keeping track of that so that the public will know that these building spaces have accessible artworks?
Yes, I think as we kind of develop a collection, that'll be part of it. It'll be building kind of a database, a way to display things for the public to find things around the city. And obviously that's some time down the road, but I'll definitely consider how we might do that. And I mean, currently for the utility box art, we do have like a Google map, and we have things that people can access pretty readily on the website, and a guidebook and things like that. So it'll be something similar in a way to kind of archive information for the city as well, so it's consistent.
Great, and I like the way you've interjected issues relating to the environment, because I know when you're at the Segerstrom Center for the Arts and you see the sculptures out in the public space, they really act to enhance the beauty of what already is a wonderful space, so that's very important. Any other comments or suggestions for Ms. Gardner? Well, then we're really excited to have this first component and looking forward to the next steps as we move forward, Ms. Garner. So we just receive and file this report at this time. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. Should we open up for public comment? Oh, yes, sir. Would you like to step forward? Wait, come to the mic, please. Thank you.
I think on the murals and any of the public art programs is to start thinking about QVC codes. both for a historical reference and background of the artist, some context of the art, the origin of the art, how it's influenced a whole group of other artists in the city. It kind of builds on it and then figure out how you can link up all the different sites and show, in some cases, like if you go over to Triangle Square, you have a kind of a music and a DJ movement happening at Time nightclub. But right across the street was the old Mesa Theater. So if you had a QVC code, you could see different elements of the history of the city and how music or cinema and theater played themselves out or played off of each other. I know that there was a little bar behind the Mesa Theater back there that was really famous. It was kind of a piano bar. It had a leaky roof, but a lot of famous musicians like Michael Feinstein, I think, even played there at one time. So you had a jazz component in the city. Nobody even knows about that, but if you have these QVC codes, people can carry them around in the city, and every now and then, if they're just sitting at a bus shelter, they can pop it up and go, oh my God, that's just 2 blocks away from me. I can go right over to it. So that's just my thinking on it.
Thank you very much. No other comments in the chambers. Are there any public comment online?
Chair, there are no members on Zoom.
Thank you, Ms. Pateri. Then we will close public comment and move on at this time. We will now move to monthly.
If you can just make the motion to receive and file, please.
All right, thank you. I will make that motion to receive and file. And Commissioner Zuckerman seconds. We'll call the question.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pateri. All right, next item on the agenda are monthly reports. Ms. Garner.
Can everyone see that, the presentation? Is it, you got it? Okay. All right. All right, for the Arts and Culture staff report, as Chair Ashendorf mentioned, the Costa Mesa Senior Center will host a reception for Alan Maeda. He has a unique astrology exhibition that blends art and science, and he'll have his reception on May 8th from 12 to 1:30. He'll be showcasing celestial charts he created along with some research he compiled for his book that outlines the 10 traits that celebrities and successful people share. So that should be kind of unique and fun. And he's a longtime member of the Senior Center here in Costa Mesa. Our free park performances, a little reminder that our first one will be with Symphony on the Go on May 27th at the Costa Mesa Senior Center from 1 p.m. to 1:50, and that's correct. They do a 50-minute concert, so I just want to let everyone know so they don't show up late and miss it. So once the fiscal year is approved, I'll be working on planning some more different types of performances for next year at different locations around the city. And the ensemble for this event will be a brass quintet, just so you all know. And the utility box art program. So we have 2 new boxes here for the Orange County Fair. These were sponsored boxes by them. These have been completed and were created by Melody Avina, their graphic designer. And we do have some Orange Coast College boxes that are mostly done, but we're working on a few edits on a couple of those in the placement of the vinyl wrap. So I'll bring those back for next month. And the additional box art, Lauren Kilb, a graphic designer, and artist Natasha Meyer created the design for the 2 Jack Hammett Sports Complex boxes. The larger box is complete, and there's a smaller one in process as well for the same, for Jack Hammett. This box is on the utility box art Google map, but isn't necessarily part of the citywide program funding. This was a separate project by the city manager that we had started planning for about a year ago, and it just came to fruition. I know we were working on some lights for the park, so it took a little time. But I wanted to share because I think it's really beautiful, so great color. And lastly, I just wanted to say a few words about the Arts and Culture Summit that I attended in Sacramento. This was the first year that the Arts and Culture Summit happened, and it was hosted by Californians for the Arts, which is a statewide arts advocacy nonprofit organization that works closely with the California Arts Council, which is a state arts agency. So artists and arts organizations from all over California joined together to present and participate in panel discussions and workshops for a full day of professional development. I attended an arts workshop called The Head and the Heart of Arts Advocacy that centered around the human piece of how we all tell stories about ourselves and the arts, coupled with numbers and data from arts research Ryan Stubbs from the National Assembly of State Arts Agencies out of Washington, D.C. Hector Flores facilitated the workshop. He's an LA-based musician and cultural worker who uses song, film, and storytelling to inspire. And then the second day was a rally to advocate for full levels of arts funding for the California state budget. The state is making cuts to the budget, as many of you might know, and there are proposed cuts to arts funding. Governor Newsom has proposed a reduction of $20 million of the $30 million appropriated for the Cultural Districts Program, which is a new program. A reduction of $29 million of the $50 million for the Museum Grant Program, and a reduction of approximately $1.2 billion from Proposition 98 for the general fund from the Arts, Music, and Instructional Materials Discretionary Block Grant, included in the 2022 Budget Act. So at the rally, there were some politicians that spoke, as well as local arts administrators from the city of Sacramento. So it was really interesting to kind of see that in action. And we kind of walked to some of the offices. I didn't speak to anyone, but we had a rally and then kind of walked to the Capitol, which was interesting to kind of see it in action, and got to see some other rallies happening as well. But overall, it was really informative and really interesting, and I'm glad I was able to kind of attend that and kind of see, what's going on in California for the arts. So. But that's, and also on the slide, I was just going to mention, I did put, Sacramento has some great public art, so I just put a few photos of it, and I love the rabbit's my favorite in the airport, so. But yeah, so that wraps up the Arts and Culture Month Report for May. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Garner. We're really pleased you were able to attend. That's very good to have you there. Yes, Commissioner Zuckerman?
Laurette, would you be able to email those proposed reductions by the governor?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a question for you, Ms. Garner, on the youth art wall in the lobby at City Hall here. Do you need any assistance from commissioners to try to identify other sources of youth nonprofits or schools to ensure that the lobby is filled with student artwork?
Absolutely, always looking. So if you have suggestions, I'm happy to kind of put things up there. I don't really have a set schedule right now, but
Okay.
I may work on one that kind of is more consistent. But as of now, I think the school that is currently there, I think Corona Del Mar is willing to keep it up till the end of the school year, and then we'll have the summer. So yes, absolutely.
Okay, usually they run for a quarter, is that correct?
Yes, well, it's changed a bit here and there, so we'll try, as I said, we'll try to get on a regular schedule.
Okay. And I know in the past, we've been fortunate to have some of the summer camps
Yes.
display their artwork at City Hall as well. So
Yes.
that can serve as an interim until we ramp up perhaps, or there are suggestions from the commission.
Yes, that's also a great idea, and I'll talk to Ashley about that.
Great. Any other comments from commissioners? Comments from staff? Nothing from the director, Minter? Oh, all right.
I do have one quick comment. I'd like to wish our beloved art specialist an early birthday, as her birthday is at the end of the month. We do appreciate her, and we wish her a very happy birthday. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll save singing for off camera. How's that? All right. Well, seeing any other comments from commissioners before we wrap up then? All right. Seeing none, then I move that we adjourn. And that would be to June something. Excuse me, I lost my, someone help me out here. What is that?
June 1st?
June 1st. Do we need a motion on that? No, all right then. We are adjourned at 6:33. Thank you.
record.